In our previous video, we noted a few differences between Adi Shankara's classic Vedanta and Swami Vivekananda's Neo Vedanta. We noted that the focus of Shankara was on the individual, while Swami Vivekananda was more focused on the society. In this video, let us see which are the three types of Satya or the truth according to Vedanta and how they are viewed by Shankara and Swami Vivekananda. There is also a difference in how the Brahman is perceived by Adi Shankara and Swami Vivekananda. So, let's learn more from Guruji on this topic. Shankaracharya's classic Vedanta and Swami Vivekananda's Neo Vedanta, Comparative Study, Part 2 by Dr. H.S. Sinha. We may not be able to see moon directly, but we can see the objects that shine in moon's light. Adi Shankara has not negated the existence of the world. He uses the word mithya. People who are not conversant with Sanskrit language tend to misinterpret the word mithya. There is sat, that which is. Asat, that which is false. And mithya, that which is not so. Swami Vivekananda has therefore advised us to understand Adi Shankara's words properly. In the example of the rope which appears as a snake, snake is asat, that which is false. Rope is sat, that which is. And that which causes the perception of sat as asat is mithya or the false representation. Mithya is caused by ignorance and remains so until it is removed by the light of knowledge. Adi Shankara in this context has described three types of truth. Pratibhashika Satya, that is the truth that remains true under the given circumstances. Vyavaharika Satya, it is the truth of the existing world in which we have interpersonal transactions. Paramarthika Satya refers to the ultimate truth in which one realizes that all the souls are reflections of the same absolute Brahman and there are in fact no separate entities. This is illustrated with an example. Once King Janaka had a dream in which he had lost a battle and the enemies were out to capture him. He was running into a forest and hid behind a bush. In the dream, he was very hungry and thirsty too. He saw a small piece of dry roti. Just when he was about to pick it up, an eagle flew down and snatched it from his hand. The king started calling for help loudly in his sleep, and outside too, which brought all his bodyguards and queens running to his room in the middle of the night. The king was woken up, and when he was asked why he was screaming, the king suddenly got a doubt whether the events that happened in his dream were true or is this true. He wondered whether what he perceived to be reality was actually a dream. He called for his royal guru. When he narrated the dream and asked as to which was the reality, the king sleeping in the palace or hiding in the forest. The Guru explained to him that both were actually truths. What he saw in the dream was Pratibhashika Satya, which was the truth so long as he was dreaming. The dream situation and the mental images suddenly disappeared and ceased to be true when he woke up. So it was a temporary truth. On the contrary, the truth that can be perceived with the five senses is called the Vyavaharika Satya. When one realizes the Vyavaharika Satya, the Pratibhashika Satya looks unreal. When one rises above the Vyavaharika Satya, he attains the Paramarthika Satya. Adi Shankara has acknowledged the existence of this world as Vyavaharika Satya. For all practical purposes, this world is real and all the interpersonal relations are real, but they are real for this world only. Thus, Adi Shankara has not negated the reality of this world, but this world is impermanent only, and hence Vyavaharika Satya also has a temporal limitation. All the things and people we perceive and interact with are all real as long as we exist. Paramarthika Satya is that all persons in Vyavaharika world with different names and forms are the same. Just as all the different pots made of the same clay have different shapes and sizes and independent existence so long as they are in the shape of pots. When the pots break and get mixed up, it's only the clay that remains. Swami Vivekananda believed that there is nothing called death. It is only that we are transferred from one pot to another made of the same clay. The distinct entities like you and I remain only as long as we are in this Vyavaharika world. This idea has been dealt with in detail in Vedanta. Both Adi Shankara and Swami Vivekananda agree that this world is not asat, but it is mithya. The ultimate absolute or the Brahman is that which has always been in existence, which does not perish, and which does not undergo changes with time. If one has a glass in his hand and it breaks, it no longer is a glass and it is no longer his glass. The status of the glass and the holder have changed. Hence, it cannot be the absolute truth. For a person who believes that the glass is his and forever, he will feel pain when it breaks. On the contrary, if he is aware that this is the temporary truth, it will not affect him much. We see waves rising intermittently on the ocean with our eyes, that is, a sense organ. When the waves fall and the ocean appears calm, we cannot say that the waves are asat. The waves were in existence as perceived by us. The fact is that we are not able to perceive the waves underneath. Swami Vivekananda has extrapolated saying that just as there are three levels of truth, Brahman also unfolds himself in different ways at different levels of realization. Many sages have said that we are a part of the Absolute. But Swami Vivekananda differs in this aspect and feels that Ishvara cannot be visualized in parts. If the Absolute cannot undergo any change, it cannot be thought of in parts. So he compared this to the pots and clay illustration and was of the opinion that the society is the collective Brahman for the purposes of Vyavaharika world. This is the greatest contribution of Swami Vivekananda to the classic Vedanta. He turned the inward looking philosophy into a social philosophy. He humanized the classic Vedanta. His Guru Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who had studied different religions, had also said that service to humanity itself is the service to God. Nara seva hi Narayan seva hai. Hence, Swami Vivekananda also advocated the same. When one is looking at 20 reflections of the moon in different metal pots kept under moonlight, it is a fact that there aren't 20 moons, but 20 reflections of the same moon. It is ignorance that makes us think that there are 20 moons, and it leads us to mithya. Thus, Swami Vivekananda, who was also a staunch follower of classic Vedanta, brought in few changes to make Vedanta applicable to Vyavaharika world. For a person who has not attained the Paramarthika Satya, Vyavaharika Satya holds good. He was instrumental in bringing down Shankara's Vedanta from Paramarthika level to Vyavaharika level so that man contributes to the society. The call of Vivekananda, awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is reached, is from the Upanishads. Vivekananda said that For a man who sleeps, his fortune or destiny also sleeps. For a sitting man, the destiny also is inactive. For a man who rises and moves, the fortune also rises and moves behind him. He also reinterpreted Tattvam Asi. He said that those who belittle themselves or put their own limitations will end up becoming that. He reiterated the voice of Vedas that those who worship smaller or the lower deities will become the pets of those deities and will be bound to that deity. But followers of Vedanta worship the ultimate Brahman and will try to become that. Expansion is life and stagnation is death. When one realizes that he is Brahman, all his thoughts and actions become divine. His thought processes get aligned to divinity. He will begin to rise to higher planes of existence. Thus, Vedanta gives each man or woman the confidence that he or she is no lesser mortal and takes them away from pettiness and towards greatness. This is the meaning and purpose of Tattvamasi. Vedanta also helps atheists by giving them the confidence because atheists basically lack self-confidence. Teacher is the greatest motivator. A true teacher is one who never uses discouraging or negative words. Vedanta is like a teacher who motivates a person to awaken his or her own latent powers to face situations in practical life. Nobody can remove dharma from the world since it is as necessary to mankind as is food. Dharma can never be the cause of deterioration of a society. Its purpose is to elevate and expand. If that is the case, why has our country deteriorated despite having a strong framework of dharma? This is because of misinterpretations of dharma. If dharma had been taught to us as it really is, we would not have been slaves to others, nor would we have fallen in values. In fact, we would have reached the zenith since our culture is highly progressive. Swami Vivekananda has noted that the words Yatho Abhyudaya Nishreyasa Sa Dharma, meaning wherever there is economic, cultural, moral, or social progress first and spiritual advancement afterwards, then there is dharma. A famished person will be ready to commit any sin to fill his hungry stomach. For such a person, one cannot teach dharma or patriotism because he is committing sins out of desperation. Another Urdu poet has also said, तन की हविस मन को गुनहगार बना देती है, बाग के बाग को बीमार बना देती है, भूखे पेटों को देशभक्ति सिखाने वालों, भूख इंसान को गद्दार बना देती है. When a mind gets polluted, it spreads pollution in the society also, and the society deteriorates. The mistake we committed was to teach Vedanta to people with hungry stomachs. To aspire for moksha, the person should have basic gratifications. Spiritual progress can come only after economic progress. Political, social, economic progress can only pave way for spiritual progress. Swami Vivekananda was of the firm belief that Indian youth should first think of economic prosperity before thinking of spirituality because it is a prerequisite for spiritual progress. Swami Vivekananda was convinced that eradication of poverty was the first step towards spiritual growth. Our sages erred in placing emphasis on spirituality before attaining abhyudaya, progress in economic, political, and social life. But Swami Vivekananda was the one who said, "Give me 100 energetic young men and I shall transform the fate of India." After listening to Guruji on this topic, I have two questions on my mind which I would like to share with the viewers. Whether philosophy or dharma is a very personal or individual subject, as Adi Shankara has said, or the philosophy should be studied and practiced in relation to society, as Swami Vivekananda's opinion. The second question is, I have heard and also read many stories about various saints and seekers of truth in India and in the West who were very poor but still struggled throughout their lives to acquire self knowledge or the higher knowledge. So, do you also feel that one can elevate himself or herself to higher levels of knowledge only upon satisfaction of hunger, emotions, and other basic necessities of the mundane existence? Or can one pursue philosophy in spite of these problems? Please let me know your views in the comment box. And since this is a knowledge sharing platform, please feel free to pose your queries also in the comment box. We'll try to explore further and seek answers. Thank you.